Hey, welcome to UMATA. Who matters? UMATA. I'm G-Man. We're here with another video, another note. And so, when people talk, I got some buddies and they're like, dude, you're looking good. What are you doing? How are you staying thin? Well, this is a good video. How do I get started? This video is how to start. And this has nothing to do about being thin. This has nothing to do about exercise. There is only one place to start. There's only one way to start. That's up here. You gotta understand, well, it starts here, meaning, oh, I know there's a problem, but something, I don't know what it is. This is the thing, the little computer. Your little computer up here in your brain. Got computer up there? It's the computer that is being assaulted by drugs, okay? I don't care what anyone says about overweight or whatever. I have, unfortunately, been addicted to nicotine before. And nicotine is a horrific drug. It is so enjoyable and so addictive. It's awful. Now, I'm not addicted to it anymore. I quit. But I can tell you right now, quitting food was just as hard. You have to understand that your brain operates on chemicals. And when you eat, it pumps tons of drugs and dopamine, norepinephrine, and all the other stuff in your brain. You got to understand that your craving addictions has nothing to do with nutrition in your body. It's purely a chemical addiction to the brain. So you have to first acknowledge, how do I start, blah, blah, blah. You have to acknowledge that you're a drug addict. I'm serious when I say that. You could take a crackhead, you could take someone who's high on meth, you could take someone who smokes 2 packs a day. If you're overweight, you're in that category. You're gonna die. How do I know that? Because every form of statistics, every form of science, every form of healthcare acknowledges that a drug addiction leads to death, a quicker death than you're supposed to naturally have. If you're fat or you're overweight, it's the same thing. You're gonna die early. You're gonna have comorbidities, heart attack, stroke, whatever. And so it's in the same category as a drug addiction. And you have to acknowledge that. And you have to come to terms with that. And so, when you acknowledge that you're a drug addict, when you acknowledge that you have a drug addiction, you're now actually acknowledging the actual core of the problem. Once you understand once you're starting to understand the actual core of the problem, then you can actually do something about it. You can actually write it down. You can go, I have this problem. These are the things that are causing it. Now I can actually start strategizing about doing things about it. So if we're going to talk about a drug addiction, how do you get someone off drugs? Can you go cold turkey? No, not really. You can kill someone doing that. Take a meth head, someone on heroin, take them off the drugs, their heart can stop easily. Same thing can happen with food. So the very first thing you have to understand is that you're a drug addict. And the very first thing you have to do is you have to acknowledge that you have been pumping your brain full of chemicals from big box stores and all this other junk food stuff. And you have to understand that you are a drug addict. You are a chemical dopamine, norepinephrine drug addict. And until you acknowledge up here that you are addicted to drugs and that you're in the same category as a cokehead or a meth head, it's not until you acknowledge that you're in the same category as a cokehead or a meth head, that's the only way you're going to get serious enough to actually do something about it. And so this is actually a little bit of a shorter video. I think my gimbal is acting up. I think it's running out of battery. But you have to acknowledge that you are addicted to drugs and you have to wean off of it. So you need to start slowly removing the things that are making you overweight, and you need to start adding the things on a weekly, monthly basis that's going to lead you to losing that weight. The easiest thing to do is cut out the soda. Step 1. Next thing, take a walk after work for even 30 minutes just 1 day a week. If you're going to take a phone call, do it outside. Walk around, pace. You have to understand that you are a drug addict and you're living in a society that the technology has outpaced our biology. And so you have to start small and you have to acknowledge, people always say the Matrix, but I think that you're taking that a little bit too far. It's simpler than that. You have to acknowledge the cage of limited options you've put yourself into, and also how those bars were also built around you from cradle to grave, as someone like Johnson & Johnson would like to say in their marketing corporate boardrooms. So that's really how you start. And that's what you have to do, is you have to acknowledge you're a drug addict. You have to understand that you are in the same category as a cokehead, and you have to understand that you're gonna die early because of this addiction. Once you acknowledge that, you can then start making the little inputs. Every week, you just something simple to fix all of that and correct it. But my gimbal's dying here, so I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe.